first thing the boats need to do is get out of Fanny Bay. Now this is relatively straight.
Hi everybody, sorry about that little glitch. Welcome to Fanny Bay. You're looking down the start line here. Because of the way I've got this set up, I'm not going to be able to talk and operate the camera, so unless one of these guys is going to volunteer, it may have to be a bit of a double up here. So I'll just swing around and see what we can do. So the catamaran on the right there is Mrs. Palmer. She's not actually racing today. I'm not sure what your left-hand boat is. Hopefully one of the race committee, once we've started, will be able to do some of this for us. We've got Having a Go, Peter Lockett, Club Commodore, and that's Bruce, last year's winner. We've got Kaching in the background here. Bruce and Lucille on Kaching have done much to organise this race and basically promote our reputation up in Saumlaki. They've already been up here this year, just sorting out the race stuff. Here we got my mates on Vitamin B.
Vitamin B.
We've got Steve Winspear on the helm there. He's got the Commodore of Dinah Beach.
So where is Steve?
I don't know who the guy with the hair is. And where's Mike? Michael Skinner is down below, probably doing some navigation. Well, I hope he's doing some navigation. So we got Wallop out there. You can hear the sign-ons going on there in the background. So let's have a look at the course. So we're on board one of the local ferry boats. Actually, as a start, the start's between us and E-Boy. That stripe you can see coming off the buoy, that is the tide. Now, the problem with all that tide is they're going to get swept over the line. Now, the wind is coming from this way,
about 14 minutes to the start, but
out from Darwin City.
There are some dolphins flying around towards the stern of the boat.
Unfortunately, I'm at the front of the boat.
I can describe them for you. They're good. Just if you want to.
Just volunteered to take over on the mic, so that's what the camera's currently looking at.
Okay.
I was just describing the tide and the start line and about to point the camera around the harbour at various landmarks.
And there was a suggestion there's dolphins at the back of the boat, which we can't actually see, but I can describe them for you. They're grey.
And fish-like?
Fish-like, and they've got this little hole at the front that blows water out. So if anyone hasn't seen a dolphin, that's what you have to look out for. Now there's a few boats going around. They're doing a little bit more sideways movement than front movement at the moment, as the current's running quite strong. There's probably a 5 to 8 knot breeze coming from the southeast. It's an outgoing tide, as we said, so the boats who are keen racers will pop their kites, they'll run out of the harbour, they'll make a sharp right-hand turn and head off towards the Vernons, and from there they'll be fighting the tide for 3 hours. It'll then turn and away they go with the current and the tide.
Speaking of the Vernons, I have a pre-prepared video for that, so we'll just cut to that.
The first thing the boats need to do is get out of Fanny Bay. Now this is relatively straightforward. You just got to miss the sandbar and miss the shallow patches off East Point. Once clear of Darwin Harbour, however, there are 3 routes open to the boats. They can either go straight up the middle through the Aspley Strait. Now this is really only practical for boats who are in the rally division and prepared to use their engines, as the Aspley Strait is narrow and has a lot of tide through it. The simplest from a navigational point of view is to go left round Cape Fulcroy, the green track on the map. The trouble with that is out in the middle of the Beagle Gulf there, the wind can just shut down on you. You can bob around if necessary for days. The shortest practical route is out through the Vernons. That's the red track on the right. This takes you out through the Dundas Strait between Melville Island and the Coburg Peninsula. We'll first focus on the eastern route out through the Vernon Islands because it's got some interesting navigational features and it's the one the boats are most likely to take. Now, the buoy labelled in green on the left of screen that says number 4 is known locally as Marsh Shoal. Now, John Knight, who quite literally wrote the book on sailing around the Darwin area, says that on the day of the race, the best time to be starting from about number 4 buoy is 3:30 in the afternoon. That should lead to tide with you all the way out to the Dundas Strait, which is up north and to the right of the shot we've got at the moment. Now, the tides can run at up to 6 knots through these channels in the Vernons. I've put the boats going through the main Howard Channel, but there's no reason why the boats can't go through the northern channels or even the south channel. However, woe betide any boat that's not out of here by about 11 o'clock at night, because 11 o'clock at night the tide starts to flow westward again, and it's like having a door slammed shut in your face. If they're not through by then, they're not going through for quite a long time, and the boats who do make it will just sail off towards Saumlaki.
Four, three, two, one. Orange flag.
Load it.
Thanks, Ed.
Yeah, sorry about the noise there. That's just a 10-minute warning to let the boats know the start's going to be happening fairly soon. We will have, hopefully, an on-screen countdown timer for you when we go. So there's Commodore Peter Lockett on having a go, last year's winner. Bit of a fan of the western route. He went round Fulcroy last year, the rest of us went to the Vernons and then motored the rest of the way. We've got Synchro over the back here. Ronnie here will be skippering. I think she's the only lady skipper in the race, and this will definitely be her first overseas trip in this boat, in any boat I believe. So good luck Ronnie and co on Synchro. Like to see your big mane up, guys. Now some of these boats may not be racing. Tom hasn't actually got a list of who's in the race because I was ambushed until late yesterday and then I'm afraid I went sailing.
Yep. White with a red dot.
So we're looking at Wallop now, another previous Darwin Ambon winner. She's 50 foot, probably the biggest boat out here today in the race. Hopefully I've switched to the camera microphone so I don't need to hold anything. I can also take interviews with people.
Oh, okay.
We've got two of the catamarans on the race, Kaching on the left and Vitamin B on the right there. Gives you an idea which way the wind's coming from, they're just getting their sail up. So we're pacing nearly into wind. Vitamin B sails are pointing into wind towards the city. That's about 180 degrees to the course out of the harbour. The point on the left, for those of you who've got Google Maps up, sorry, point of centre of the screen now, is Emery Point, the southern corner of Fanny Bay. Then we pass Cullen Bay Marina. And then in the background there, you've got the casino. Coming up on the museum. It's just behind Wallop at the moment. Coming round to the Sailing Club and Trailer Boat Club. And if you carry right on round behind us, now hopefully the race officers are going to give me plenty of warning when I need to start my countdown timer for the 5-minute gun. Hint, race officers. I'm just going to get my technology. 2 minutes.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have a couple of minutes to the 5-minute gun, or the 5-minute hooter, and the warning flag.
Next year we'll tie into the
For
PA.
those who aren't aware, the race is being tracked by yellow brick trackers, and the yellow brick tracker is a little unit like this that I'm holding up, which is, then there's one on each boat. That will sends a signal through the satellite system, and then it's
Ed has a dream.
plotted on the tracker screen. If you want to have a look at that, if you go to the Darwin Sailing Club site, then go to the Darwin Saumlaki race page, and then down on the right-hand side of that page there is a link to the tracker.
I'll put a link below these videos afterwards.
1 minute, Ed.
Okay, we're now down to 45 seconds.
We're about to have the 5-minute gun here,
5-minute hooper.
and Ed's learning about the perils of 2.4 gigahertz and lots of people.
Thirty
Okay,
seconds.
this will be my favourite for line honours. That's my tie. Very fast boat. As you can see, she's
20
moving.
seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I think I got that. So sorry about the noise. That was the 5-minute gun. You should be able to see the countdown timer on your screen. Now, for those of you who are not sailors, we usually operate a 5-4-1 go race start sequence. That's what's called the warning signal. That's the 5-minute gun. On my screen, that's denoted by the white and red flag on the top left corner. The 4-minute, the sailors will see a white and blue flag, the blue Peter go up, and the blue Peter will go down at the 1 minute, and then the other flag will go down to indicate the start. As I said, you should have a countdown timer on your screen, so you don't need to know that. They hopefully had their watches set and have got all of this.
Preparatory signal in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Mind you. Okay, so I'm about a second off. To be honest, with one of me starting a boat race, that's usually pretty good. So we're looking south at the moment where the boats are milling around. The line is 90 degrees to where the camera's pointed at the moment, and very inconveniently there's a large number of people, poles, masts and flags getting in the way over that way. So we'll switch to that at the very last minute.
Within the same time, postcode.
Now, to any of the boats that have managed to get this live, that little intro I did with the how to get to the Vernons needs a bit of a caveat. When I said John Knight says, what I meant is John Knight's book says, assuming I calculated it right. It was done in rather a hurry. I've since spoken to John and he caveated his book, so I hope the sailors are paying attention and done their own navigation. My stuff is strictly not for navigation. The Ed, our sailing officer, has nodded at me because he knows me. You wouldn't follow me if I was racing around the course and trust me to get the right buoy. Don't follow my navigational advice through the Vernons. So the cat moving in the middle, he may get tempted to go to Indonesia, but he hasn't taken nearly enough with him. The others I think are all racing. Vitamin B seems to be setting up on port tack. I think she wants to go for a spinnaker as soon as possible. Hopefully we'll get some spinnakers out. 2 minutes 16 on my screen. I'm not going to argue with the race officer, but he's probably looking at my screen as well. So if we swing over left here, Kashing doesn't appear to be moving.
P flag will come down in 55 seconds with a long hoot.
So Bruce here has a big sock on his spinnaker, so he's obviously getting ready to set. I imagine he'll set it either on the line or as soon as possible afterwards. This is a sort of cruising sail, so you can put your spinnaker up and then you literally just pull the sock off it. And it rolls up like a old school long sock.
Obviously, it's I don't know, about 28 degrees up here in Darwin, so we're not wearing long socks, or in fact socks at all.
On board, they said
Those of you down south, well, I'm sorry about that. Move somewhere warmer.
they know exactly 1 minute. That's critical, like 5 seconds. Difference can be the difference between.
You look at the tide here, it's really sweeping, having a go down. If I bring us into shot, you'll see her just crabbing sideways. Wallop
Key flag
is stationary.
down in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So that's 1 minute to the start. Bruce is dead downwind and in a moment in serious
Okay, we
danger of
have
floating
1
into
minute
us.
to the start, just under.
I can't even say that. Cameron?
Yeah,
Oh
double.
boy.
Adam Gollo's boat's just in front of the start boat.
Wallop is going to come right across the front of us, and I won't even be able to zoom out far enough. And given the tide,
that's
she's
really close.
seriously going to clonk our anchor chain. This could get
Okay.
quite exciting here.
Coming up.
Probably is quite exciting.
Starting 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now.
And they're all clear, and I would say that that was a fantastic
That is
little
a great
manoeuvre by
start by
Wallop.
Wallop.
That was absolutely
First start
brilliant,
all around.
and great for the spectators here. They nailed that one. We're not Dinah Beach, you don't get a six-pack. And remember I said Kaching was going to go and hit us? She almost is. She's got her
Second
spinnaker
boat
up,
across the line will be Kuching.
and she's going across it sideways. Marks the style, everybody.
Then Sidorka,
The good news is this tide is pushing them straight towards Indonesia
Vitamin D,
and us. Woo! I'm being translated behind me.
then Mai
Is
Tai.
also possibly on board.
Synchronicity 2 is just going across the start line.
Mai Tai's got a big kite up and is going to try and hit us, which is very nice for us. I reckon this has made us little. Synchro, on the other hand, has just appeared from nowhere. She's got good boat speed. She's got a big masthead acer up. It's a shame not to see her big square top main up. I was expecting a bit of breeze. The boat behind is Francis, and he's not racing. So yeah, I would definitely, I'd be looking for Mai Tai for line honours. So again, says follow the tracker. I'll put it in the links afterwards. Well, quite a lot afterwards. I've got a rugby final to do after this. So Vitamin B appear to have got themselves sandwiched, which isn't doing their wind any good, and they seem to have forgotten to put the spinnaker up. Look at Synchro now going through. She's got to get through all their dirty air, but a bit of aggressive driving by Ronnie there. And there's Francis showboating.
41 is
Get off the course!
which has just recently been purchased by Francis Wilkins. Francis isn't going to Saumlaki, at least not this year. So just
Or at least not legally.
to help have a look at the numbers. Coming up astern is Trout 45, which is the boat with the green sailbag at the bottom of its main, and they'll be the next ones to go across the line. And over on our port side, or the left side of the boat, is B59, which is Commodore Peter Lockett's boat. Appear to have a few issues up on the foredeck, so we hope they can get those resolved very quickly and get through to start the race.
So I don't know how much of what you had said you could hear back there. We've got the Prout 45 up here, just coming down on the line. Bit of a late starter, and the same. We seem to have problems over here with the Commodore. He may just be. I can't get through the crowds, unfortunately, so you'll have to take our word for it. But I don't think he's crossed the start line yet. He was obviously trying to use the Wallop method of sneaking in behind the boat and come round, but it doesn't seem to have paid off for him. I think the supporters club for the. We've got the Dolphins. The Dolphins have finally come back.
In front of the boat.
Well, if you're down south and it's freezing, I'm sorry, we've got lovely water, we've got beautiful weather. We're all going to Indonesia for a cold bintang, and now we've got dolphins as well. Sorry, I know England's even got good weather now, but This is what we have to put up with in Darwin. It's miserable. The Proud 45 has started. Francis Wilkins is still hooning around in Mrs. Palmer in the background there. Now I'm going to do some careful manoeuvring here. Excuse the crazy camera angles. I'm now leaning out of the boat so I can see the rest of the course. So if Steve could kindly move that flag for me, that would be kind of handy. Steve, can you move that other flag out of the way for us? Thank you. So that's one of the start flags. It's been rolled up and no longer in use. So on the far right, just as far as I can lean out and see, is Mai Tai. Now she's probably going to have to jibe to avoid the shallows off East Point, which you can't quite see. They're just hidden behind the boat to the right. Just left of her is Bruce on Kaching. If you remember the lovely swiping start he did and tried to run into us. To the left of that is Wallop with a crazy anchor chain catching start manoeuvre. She's looking good. And beyond that, that's Synchro with the white spinnaker and the rolled up Genoa. I'm not quite sure which catamaran that is just left of her. And then we come around Sudorka, I think. Now I've got a 4-inch screen on this camera. There's a very good chance that you've got a better view than I have. We're getting a bit of a roll from a passing boat there, which isn't helping my camera angles. And left of her, Vitamin B. Now, given the angle of sail, I'm quite surprised to see Vitamin B haven't put their code 0 up. They have a big flat sail that goes right off the bowsprit at the front and literally right back to the back corner of the boat. It's just a giant triangle, similar to what you see on the Volvo Ocean Race boats. And I would think that that would be quite good for them today. Now, what they're all expecting is that this wind's going to die off in an hour or two and then swing round to the north. According to my calculations, they'll be able to get through the Vernons from about 3 o'clock. Now, it's going to take them quite a few hours to get up there at this point, but I expect most of the boats to take the right-hand track on that map I showed earlier, out through the Vernon Islands.
Okay,
we come around
the B59 is Commodore Peter Lockett's boat, Avnica. Just about to bear away and go across the easter.
That was the first day.
So hopefully you heard the PA there, Ed, the stadium manager. This is Peter Lockett, the club commodore. He sorted out his foredeck problems. He's jibing to start the race now. That tide, as you can see from the boy behind, is still running. No sign of a spinnaker yet, but they have things to sort out. That may be a while, maybe not at all. Like I said, we expect this wind to go round. I just heard from the race officer behind me that that's the last boat to start. Smile, you're on telly. So Wallop's still not elected to go for a spinnaker. Mai Tai's now out of shot. She's having real trouble getting her spinnaker set. She's trying to run too deep, I would say, but I think that probably goes for all the boats. We haven't seen any of them jibe off, which is interesting. But, I'm still surprised by nothing like a spinnaker on Vitamin B. Well, I hope they've all booked into the Hotel Harapan India when they get there. There's going to be a lack of space, otherwise you're all going to be staying on their boats. Unless Ed wants to say a few words, I'm probably going to stop fairly soon. Sure? Yeah. Don't want to introduce anybody? Since we're running out of things to do on the course, I'm probably going to call this in a minute. So that's the club general manager, John, there. This is Steve Shorts here, who's been acting as assistant race officer this morning. He didn't realise that when he got here, he got shanghaied. It was either that or do voiceovers. So thanks for your time on the voiceover earlier. What do you think? Everyone's going up through the Vernons, do you reckon?
I would imagine so. It didn't work out last year too well. It's the shortest, most obvious way to go. The back of Bathurst is just as fluky, so that's the way to go.
This is Ed, the sailing manager. Thank you for getting us underway today, and I know you've done a lot of organisation on the yellow brick trackers and stuff, so any comments about the race?
Look, I think it's going to be, should be a good race. We're looking forward to seeing some better times. Hopefully the race is going to, the weather's going to fill in a bit over the next few hours, so they'll get a bit faster pace than they're displaying at the moment as they go through the Vernons. And then up through Van Diemen's Gulf and up to Saumlaki.
So in a few weeks we're going to do this again, or at least part of it, probably just the finals, but would you like to say anything about the Australian-made regatta?
Right, yes, we've got the Australian-made youth match racing regatta starting this coming week with teams from around Australia and one from New Zealand, so it's the first time we've had an international youth team competing in match racing in Northern Territory. The finals for that are this coming in 7 days of time, next Saturday, and it's the competition level there is looking at the world rankings is much higher than it has been in the past, so we're looking forward to watching some really exciting match racing over the next few days.
I'd just like to thank the embassy staff who are out tonight today from the, and you can see I normally do rugby in the evenings, from the Indonesian embassy, and all the people who helped get this race ready. That includes Ed and the local consulate and all those folks, and particularly I would say Bruce and Lucille on Kaching, who I know have even been up there this year to do some of the organisation. So we will try and get you some more information. Keep tuned to the Sailing Club Facebook and so on, and we'll see you in a week or so's time for some live footage from the Australian-made youth regatta. This has been Tom and Co and this ferry, whose name I'm afraid I don't know, for Darwin Sailing Club.